Well, today is still Saturday, and you all know what that means. That means once again we get to review more wrestling reviews here. We got GCW much recent event Shooting Star that took place on the 23rd, but however, we got New Japan Strong, which I'm very excited to review with all of you, knowing what has been going on in the world of pro wrestling. But also, some news updates, some very interesting ones that came on my lap, some that may not be in already on the news outlet, but they've been appearing on Twitter. So you probably might enjoy hearing that or don't know what to make of it. But we'll find out soon enough. So let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I'm your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with, of course, GCW Shooting Star. As you know, they just came back recently from the UK, and next stop after this, they'll be heading straight to Japan for a 3-day show. But let's talk about what took place recently. This took place, of course, on the 23rd on a Friday. The first match we have Lucha Libre style. We have Archangel Divino versus his rival, also slash his brother, Ultimo Maldito. Now I don't know much about these guys, but as a kid growing up watching Lucha Libre, I've always been a big fan of that. I may not know these guys, but I know for a fact when it comes to Lucha Libre, for a fact I'm a big fan of it. So I enjoy every high spot and every movement, but the one thing that clearly ended is when Archangel Divino was able to apply the Fuji armbar right onto his brother, giving him the win, and I thought it was a really nice win. So, pretty good one. Next up, we have the South Pacific Savages, more consistently with Juicy Finau and Jacob Fatu taking on Starboy Charlie and Joey Janela. Now, keep in mind, we have seen Starboy Charlie in a feud with these guys in the past, but recently his tag team partner that he normally teams up with to deal with these guys, he's no longer around due to some issues that have been going on, and you probably know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Chris Dickinson, but now he has Joey Janela in the mix. However, this match went into a disqualification when a masked assailant showed up, and of course is none other than Journey, who shows up out of the blue. And of course, Starboard Charlie tried everything in her power to help her son, but Juicy Finau headbutted her, and then of course, Fatu did the Samoan splash on her, and then ended it like that. But Joe Janelle did not take that too kindly. That it made him sick through his stomach that these guys went this far to hurt a woman who's only trying to help her son. But he also issued a challenge against Fatu and Finau in a steel cage match with him and Starboard Charlie. So this is gonna be of a hell of a match we definitely gonna enjoy. Hopefully they make it official. Now our next match we have, of course, Kevin Blackwood taking on the young pillar, young, dumb, and broke Jordan Oliver. I thought it was a good match because we know Kevin Blackwood, what he's capable of. He's an amazing technical wrestler too, on the same level as Daniel Garcia, but he is making a good impression. But however, it was of course the cloud cutter by Jordan Oliver that actually sealed the deal to giving him the W. Next up is the GCW Extreme title between Jack Cartwheel and Cole Radrick. Now, as you know, Cole Radrick has defended that title every single time, every single pay-per-view they can get, that they book him in. He is a pretty good one. But when it comes to Jack Cartwheel, he takes his weaponry up in the air. That's who he is. But however, it was the no Sebastian curse by Code Roderick that sealed the deal to win the match against Jack Cartwheel. Next up, we got All Hard Blake Christian taking on none other than Titus Alexander. As you know, Titus, he has a mean streak. He has a chip on his shoulder trying to prove that he is the true franchise and the king of the West Coast in pro wrestling. That's always been his game, but he's going to have to face against this guy who has been all over the world. He's been on television. He's been on every promotion that we can think of. But of course, we know the kind of dirty tricks that Titus Alexander can pull up in order to pick up the win. But this time he received a stump in the back of the head by Blake Christian, giving him the W. Next up, we got a hardcore match between the Southern Psycho Mance Warner and, of course, my boy. And, of course, it was his birthday. We have Hunter Freeman. So, happy birthday, Hunter. So I thought this match was insane. Going with all these hardcore toys, and not to mention the most sickest thing I was about to see. Mance Warner was about to staple Hunter with his mouth right here to the door. I'm like, ugh. But luckily it did not happen. But the one thing, if you guys are from the South, you guys know there's one thing the South love. It's a good ass cold beer or light beer, however you want it. And that's exactly what Mance Warner did. He used that into his advantage to pick up a win when he applied the DDT on Hunter. 1, 2, 3, it was done. Next up, we got a scramble match. We got also a San Diego native, B-Boy, versus Eli Everfly versus Jordan Cruz, another guy who has been on Level Up, Jimmy Lloyd versus Marcus Mathers, and of course, finally, Dylan McKay. Now, these type of matches, anything could happen. It's unpredictable. You don't know how this can end. But however, it was B-Boy with the Delgado move on to Cruz to pick up the win. So that's a good way to end it. Now, our next match, we have Nick Wayne versus the Octopus, the Foundation himself, Jonathan Gresham. Now, you know this is going to be a good match because we have the young rising wrestler in GCW taking on one of the most highly recognizable wrestlers in all time of today, Jonathan Gresham. I thought it was great, but one thing that was really surprising is how he pulled up the win. Now, normally we would have seen him with a submission. However, he used a type of pinfall match, like a figure four, elevated figure four. I think that's what I put in my notes. A figure four leg lock, but in a submission type, in a pinfall maneuver to bend him back in order for Nick Wayne not to, to move, and it was kind of effective. I don't know if he has ever used it or he just thought of this at the top of his head. Well, we don't know, but it was great. Now our main event is the GCW tag titles. We got Bussy, Alley Catch, and Effie taking on the Mega Bastards, John Wayne Murdoch and Alex Clone. I thought this match, you know how this match is going to go. As you know, Bussy would do anything to get those titles back, but this time they have to go with the most unusual team you ever meet, of course, the Mega Bastards. But of course, it was the submission by John Wayne Murdoch that picked up the win that allowed for the ref to stop the match, realizing Effie was out unconscious. So it was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. So I think this was a pretty good match, and I can't wait to see for the Japanese events coming up soon. And I think that's pretty much it what we got. So I believe let's move on with New Japan Strong. Okay, so let's talk about New Japan Strong with Fighting Spirit Unleashed. It opened up with QT Marshall, the leader of the factory, who New Japan Strong fans are not happy to see him. So he faces Keita, which was probably a simple match because, he's looking for the easier way to prove he is the best wrestler, which of course he did by using the Diamond Cutter in order to win the match. However, he's trying to, while he's giving his promo, thinking he is what he is. Once again, he now got a nerve. He got his nerves by knowing that Shota Umino, or as we know him, Shooter, once again told him that he will see him in Las Vegas and kick his ass. So that means it looks more likely that there's a match booked. QT will probably run from it. So basically, we'll see what happens, because if he does run, that means I wouldn't be surprised if Shooter goes straight to AEW and beat him up there. So would that be easier? Now, next match we have TMDK, Bat Dude Tito, and Shane Hayes taking on Yuya Uemura and Christopher Daniels. I thought this match was pretty good because it showed a lot of tag team, but however, there was a botch moment with Yuya Uemura. He messed things up. He tried to apologize, but of course Daniels trying to tell him, forget about it, just keep moving forward, which is true. What you do in a wrestling situation when you botch something, you don't apologize. You keep moving forward until you get the end result. However, that did not happen. It was, of course, Sean Hayes who picked up the win. But because of this, Daniels turned his back on Yuya Uemura in order to send a message to him saying that he messed things up. But however, he was the one who got pinned, not Yuya Uemura. So we'll see what happens then. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a match booked between those two. Now, we do get a little video message from TJP sending a direct message to Fred Rosser. Now, Rosser saying that he was honored that he could share the ring with him, but TJP, who thinks he's the cocky SOB, that he owes him everything, saying that he's renting the ring. So basically, we're going to see that match take place possibly next week and see what happens then. Now, our next match, we have Jacob Austin Young taking on Ren Narita. As you know, Ren Narita has been one of the most talked about wrestlers. If you guys, he stepped up on main event levels, took on Shibata back a couple months ago. He's been everywhere, but I thought it was very impressive until he applied the belly to belly onto Young, and then boom, ending it right there. 1, 2, 3. Now, our next match, we have Alan Angels, formerly known as Five, taking on the Bone Soldier of Bullet Club, Taiji Shimori, and this one's a non-title match. I thought this match was pretty good because it showed how Alan Angels has grown up, is making a bet on himself, but however, it was the Bloody Sunday that sealed the deal for Taiji Shimori to pick up the win. So we'll see what happens. As you know, next week it will be the final show of the Fighting Spirit Unleashed, and we'll see what's going to take place after that. So I think that's pretty much it right now. So let's move on with our lasting news updates. Okay, welcome to our news updates. Now, something interesting has taken place in the world of Twitter. Teddy Long, or as we know him, Theodore Long, has been now blocking people from Twitter. We've seen that with various people, and it's still unclear what is going on. Even Matt Cardona, he wasn't blocked by Teddy Long, which made no absolute sense on what's going on here. We don't know what's going on with Teddy. Even people are saying, why did he block them? And there's like fans out there who are saying that he hasn't had any interaction with Teddy Long, and it's still unclear about that, but hopefully we get answers from that. Now, if you guys recall recently on one of the previous updates that I put out, WWE for the first time in Survivor Series, we're going to have War Games. However, it was now been revealed we're going to have 2 War Game matches. Now, is this the same kind of deal we have with the guys and a men's War Games match and a women's War Games match? I don't know. If that's the case, we definitely have to see that. But there's still more information that has been revealed. I will stay on top of this as much as possible. Now, speaking of WWE, if you guys remember, for a while we've been hearing about Veer making his way to WWE on Raw on WWE. However, that did not happen. It appears he got demoted back to NXT, and he was spotted teaming with Sanga in a live show. Now, we don't know what's the significance of having Ver going straight to Raw, and we haven't seen him then. They've been promoting this a lot. We don't know what's the answer. Hopefully, we can get answers from that because I think it was really ridiculous in that. Now, our final update, you may have heard the news that Skye Blue has signed a deal with AEW. Now, there is no indication whether this is a full time or part time. Not a lot of details have been made on that, but hopefully we can get more answers on that. As you know, she has been working with AEW Dark on Elevation on many occasions. She did even challenge with her real life boyfriend Dante Martin for the AAA mixed tag team titles against Sammy and Tay. But hopefully more information can come out of this, and we'll go from there. So I think that's pretty much it. So I believe it's time to call it a day. Everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we got more on Choco Pro, and of course, the latest Bleach show has come out. The latest New Japan Burning Spirit continues on, and of course, Stardom Showcase 2. I hear has been very interesting. Um, I'm not sure if I'll be able to see it, but we'll go. And there's still some shows I haven't reviewed yet, but hopefully, the WatchProWrestling.org hasn't even uploaded the last few events of Stardom with the 5-star Grand Prix. As you know, we're getting closer and closer towards the end, and that is something we definitely are going to enjoy. So, I think that's pretty much it. So, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.